if people are aware of Dennis and they realize who he was and they kind of know what his character was like, and it was really what it was like. I mean, he was just a happy guy.
He always had this infectious sort of positive attitude, which honestly, for a lot of his teammates, probably was a big factor in them actually achieving the results that they did.
He was a very driven person to get better. Like every day he was striving to be a better person of himself. I know that's easily said, and I think a lot of people will say that about themselves, but there's definitely a difference in the level of some top athletes, and Dennis was absolutely one of them.
We lost somebody who spread cheer, enjoyed life to the fullest in many ways, and also somebody who would always be there to talk to you if you needed to talk. And I think we lost somebody great.
But I think that is what he was, a good leader, a really good one, and we lost him.
I think he'd achieved what he wanted as a player, and now he wanted to start giving back. And I think the act of giving back and the importance that had to him really drove him to work very hard on becoming the kind of person that players could respect as a coach.
INTERNETHULK was a born competitor.
I think I'm one of the most driven persons in esports. This is all I have in my life, and this is my life. Like, I only care about esports, and I want to make it. I want to be number one.
He reached rank 1 in World of Warcraft during Season 2, but it was as a StarCraft 2 streamer that he first started attracting a following.
Now, I remember Team Liquid back from 2010, 2009. They have had a huge community in StarCraft, and I was part of it.
Hulk eventually turned to League of Legends at the end of Season 3. And by January 2014, Hulk became the first player to ever reach the Challenger rank in Europe as a jungler with the handle RMDX. Little did he know at the time, but League of Legends was only the first step on his way to esports superstardom.
An elite international task force charged with ending the war and restoring liberty to all nations. Overwatch.
Hulk didn't waste any time jumping into Overwatch and assembled the core of the potent iddqd roster during the early days of the competitive scene.
We formed a team, and we had another almost 60 win streak, but the game wasn't as competitive as after release.
INTERNETHULK was a flex player for the team, and his favorite and most played hero was Winston, a character that allowed him to make a major impact on the game while clearing space to allow his teammates to pop off.
Well, one of the reasons is I played him so much, so I'm actually really good at him, I feel like, and it's just one of the characters where you can do like a lot of small things that do have such significance for your team.
He was known for his ability to control the pace of the game, set up timely dives, and play any hero that his team needed.
But the speed boost is out. Here comes iddqd. Bomb coming out here from INTERNETHULK, takes out 2 people. Absolutely beautiful stuff coming out from him.
The team garnered a reputation as one of the scene's most feared at a time when the competitive Overwatch world was largely ranked by word of mouth.
In Europe, you had iddqd with INTERNETHULK, and a lot of the players that are on our team still today. Those guys were really dominant.
Then, in April 2016, that same roster was signed by Envious ahead of Apex Season 1, the first step into the world of real Overwatch esports.
Once we signed with Envy, I heard someone coming up to me and tell me like, dude, I'm so happy you ended up with Envious. And that was someone who wanted us for their organization. He said like, Mike's one of the best owners, and that's really what like has been proven.
Yeah, we really wanted to work with the iddqd team and have them play with Tailspin, and that's how Dennis and I met.
Like, he brought us over to America as the first team in Overwatch to bring into a gaming house and believe into us with the release of the game.
So when Korean broadcasting company OGN announced that they'd be hosting Apex, a 2-month-long tournament with many of the game's most prolific personalities and rosters, the pilot light for the world's next big esport was lit.
was the largest qualifier for any tournament in OGN history, and this goes back all the way through every single game. We're talking StarCraft Brood War, League of Legends, everything that they've done. More people attempted to get into this tournament, and we're down to the last 12 of those Korean teams at Apex, and rounding out with 4 teams coming in from the international scene in the West to compete here in Seoul.
Internet Hulk captained Team Envy squad and played alongside the likes of Taimu, Tailspin, Chips Hyen, Harry Hook, and Coco.
Hulk is the mastermind, kinda, of our team.
He's kind of like the glue of our team, I would say, a little bit. He's a team captain.
He's always, the one that's like getting us, motivated.
Very serious all the time and really wants to make it and wants us to do as good as we can.
Headed into the event, they were thought to be one of the strongest Western teams in the world.
I thought it was the team with the most talent in the world, and it was kind of clearly showing in competition. Not that we were really competing with Koreans back then, but in terms of the Western world, like there's nobody better than that team.
But Envy were pretty much ahead of the pack already in the West. At that time,
the team made it through to the bracket stage relatively unscathed, but they were experiencing some internal issues that resulted in Tailspin leaving the team before the bracket stage.
We had one of our players not be able to make it out to Korea, and we had this gaping hole for another player, and we had to make a playoff push in that first season of Apex.
Tailspin's departure would prompt Hulk to go out and find a new 6th to field the lineup for the elimination stage.
Dennis came to me at the time as kind of the captain of our team, and he said, "Mike, I met this guy at the World Cup. He plays for Thailand. His name is Mickey. He's got this amazing attitude, and he's really skilled, and he's a really great diva player, and we really want to get him put on the team." And I had no idea who he was, and Dennis, I'll never forget, just said, "Trust me, Mike, trust me. This is the guy we need. He can be really good, and he has an amazing attitude. He's going to be really good for our team. Just trust me."
After a middling group stage, Hulk knew that his team would have to kick it up a notch if they wanted to upset Korea's best. And as it turned out, the Thai flex tank player was exactly the spark of energy that Envy needed him to be. Just like Internet Hulk promised.
Reinforce tries to push away Mickey, but Mickey gets 4! He gets 4 with the self-destruct! Oh, the Diva delivery service!
Envy would go on to defeat Rogue in the quarterfinals.
And Rogue losing everyone. There's the payload! And Envious, they will win this match and go to the semifinals!
And Kongdu in the semis.
Gets nothing, and now comes it's a bigger shatter! Nobody gets to the point! Envious are going to the grand finals!
Which landed them in a grand final showdown against Afrika Blue. In the end, it was the team-first culture that Internet Hulk fostered that allowed Envy to become the first Western eSports franchise to go to Korea and emerge with a first-place finish.
And that is it. Envious will win Intel Overwatch Apex Season 1 with a 4-0 victory. GG.
Wow, huge win from Envious. Look at these guys coming through this tournament. Everybody thought it was over when Tailspin left. That was going to be it. Mickey comes in as an emergency substitute onto this team, and he helps the team go all the way to a clean sweep of a Korean Grand Final.
It may seem small looking back, but Apex was everything competitive Overwatch had at the time, and Internet Hulk's Envy squad were on top of the world. After that first Apex title, Hulk would lead Envy to another top 8 finish in Apex Season 2. With Season 2 in his rear view and his 30th birthday quickly approaching, Internet Hulk decided to step away from playing Overwatch competitively in favor of coaching. A job he seemed to fit for from the start, Hulk started his coaching career with Envy, but things didn't go as planned.
I think he got a little distracted. He certainly started spending a lot more time networking and wanting to go to other gaming events and, wanting to do all these things that come with, being a famous pro gamer. And that didn't translate well when you're having to transition to be a head coach of a team. Every player knew his capability, and if he wasn't going to use it, his full potential in the head coaching position, then we were better off with another coach.
Ahead of Season 3, Hulk took a role coaching Rogue's Overwatch team and led them to a 9-12 record.
Their new coach, of course, Season 1 champion Hulk coming by. Hulk on the left there.
After Blizzard announced the Overwatch League, Hulk had moved on to coach Team Liquid at Overwatch Contenders and led them to a second-place finish.
I just feel like Team Liquid always deserves to be right on the top. They deserve to have championship teams, and I want to achieve that.
After that season, it was revealed that Hulk would be taking on a different role within the Team Liquid organization. He'd be heading back to his League of Legends roots and become head coach of their LCS team.
We hired Dennis as the coach with all everything in place that might be difficult to overcome, such as not having coached League of Legends. We believed that he could do it. And that's not because we underestimate the difficulty of going from one game to another. We're actually we fully recognize that is not an easy switch. And we believe that from everything that we had seen of him, we believe that he could do it.
Hulk had lived the professional esports dream. He'd become a known StarCraft streamer, a highly ranked League of Legends player, a world-class Overwatch captain, and now a professional coach. But then, tragedy struck. On November 8th, 2017, Team Liquid announced that Dennis Internet Hulk Havelka had died.
I got a call from the owner of Team Liquid, who's a very good friend of mine, Victor, and he told me he had some pretty rough news, and went on to explain to me that they couldn't get a hold of Dennis for a few days, and it wasn't normal, and they had to break into his apartment where they found him, and he was gone.
One of the founding fathers of Overwatch eSports, a captain, a teammate, and a coach, was gone all too soon. As the Overwatch community mourned the loss of one of its founding fathers, some of those closest to Hulk opted to celebrate his life.
We lost somebody who spread cheer, enjoyed life to the fullest in many ways, and also somebody who would always be there to talk to you if you needed to talk. And I think we lost somebody great.
He's been with a lot of teams. He was in the Overwatch League or the Overwatch scene since his very beginning of the closed beta, and he always had this infectious sort of positive attitude.
But I think that is what he was a good leader, a really good one, and we lost him.
Many of Overwatch's most prolific names competed and casted during the Hulktastic Cup, a testament to the many lives Hulk touched during his time as a competitor. The tournament was a benefit for Hulk's family, with any leftover money being donated to charity.
I think we also have a message from Hulk's family. I'm gonna try to read to the best I can. We are totally overwhelmed by all the love and support from the community, as well as the love and the respect towards our son and brother. We start to realize more and more what he meant to the scene and why he felt so comfortable around you guys. In a hard time right now to find the right words, the only thing we can truly say is, we thank you from the bottom of our hearts.
Fast forward a few months later, and the Overwatch world reached the climax its followers hoped for when they were watching Envy lift the Apex trophy for the first time. The Overwatch League.
The time is now. Years of dedication, months of sacrifice have all led to this moment.
And that Envy roster that Hulk poured his blood, sweat, and tears into was now the Dallas Fuel, one of the most exciting rosters on paper heading into Season 1. The excitement of this new game in mind, the community never forgot about the impact Hulk had on the development of the game. In fact, they immortalized him in the game's history. This award would be presented to the player who had the most positive impact on the Overwatch community at large.
And to announce the winner of our first ever Dennis Havelka Award, it will be one of his championship teammates from Team Envious, the always smiling Mickey, the emotional core of the Dallas Fuel. Congratulations, Mickey.
If I like being sad to them, like being unhappy and make anything go worse, it's just like everything gonna be worse. So I just think in a positive way, like just like everything pass, just pass.
Mickey, thank you for being such a shining example of positivity and kindness. I know Dennis will be very, very proud, especially as one of his teammates, to receive this award.
He brings an element to the team that every team needs, and I think that's what Dennis saw in Mickey when he asked me to sign him. And I think that, in addition to his positive impact on the community, make him the best candidate for the Dennis Havelka Award.
The Dennis Award is really mean to me, since the reason why I'm here because of him.
Additionally, they created a memorial to Hulk inside the game itself, right by the attacker spawn on Eichenwald. Between the Hulktastic Cup, an in-game memorial, and this award that celebrated his name, the Overwatch community will never forget Internet Hulk. In just 30 years, Internet Hulk lived the kind of life that many dream about. The kind of life that left a mark on everyone he met.
Well, Dennis was basically just a large, loud, goofy, and happy-go-lucky person.
This is someone who was so driven. He was absorbing all information to get better at what he did.
There's nobody I'd probably have ever met that was more passionate about, you know, finding the right fit for him and his team, because he knew what he had at that moment was what he's been working for 10 years.
He's the person that really means a lot to me.
He never stopped, was never satisfied, and achieved his wildest dreams.
I made a career out of gaming when I was 29. I had a rough past before that, but I told my dad what I'm doing, and he's watching my games, and it's the best feeling in the world to actually make your parents proud, and I feel like that's what I did. It's amazing.
And along the way, he made the kind of mark that can never be forgotten.
He was a very driven person to get better. Like every day he was striving to be a better person of himself. I know that's easily said, and I think a lot of people will say that about themselves, but there's definitely a difference in the level of some top athletes, and Dennis was absolutely one of them.
I think he'd achieved what he wanted as a player, and now he wanted to start giving back. And I think the act of giving back and the importance that that had to him really drove him to work very hard on becoming the kind of person that players could respect as a coach.
And for that, in esports and to all those he touched, he will always be a hero.
Heroes never die.